Here we go. None of this makes sense at all in this market right now, but we are actually in a pretty decent spot compared to where we were previously. I want to show you this with the 𝐴 dashboard just to start this video off. If we take a look at the fear and greed index, yes, we're a little bit too high. I don't like that. But if we look at the long and short ratio, look at this, guys. Retail traders are now majority short. Bybit traders are also now majority short. Binance top traders, the top traders, the ones that always win, are now even more heavily long in this market. What actually happened as a result of this ridiculous price action, the price action that I so passionately warned you guys against taking part of, and that I was very, very colorfully dismantling, like why this is a horrible time to be trading and why people are making mistakes and how to stop it. All of this mess has flushed out a lot of the leverage, and that is a big deal. Now, I don't actually know, and I really should, but I don't actually know how to pull up the open interest on this chart. I don't know if this is, I don't know, maybe this is something that we could look at. I have no idea what this means. But what we have seen is that open interest has dropped, right? And what that means, if you don't already know, is when open interest is high, it means that there's a lot of money in the market, in a leverage market specifically. But when it's low, it means that there's less leverage trading going on. And we've actually removed a lot of that leverage now, which kind of puts us in a more organic place, right? Like whatever happens in the market is generally going to be more organic if there's less leverage, which is what I was talking to you about with like most of this rally, basically like up until the end. There wasn't a lot of leverage. You can see the volume really spiking up here and here. But you know, like for a lot of the rally, it was mainly spot driven, and I showed you a lot of data to support that claim in my data dash video. But we're now seeing, the result of that leverage kind of being taken out of the market, and we're just kind of consolidating here in a good place. But this isn't the good news. The good news is the S&P 500. If you've watched any of my recent videos, smash up the fucking likes for me, ladies and gents, because that analysis was so scarily accurate, where I was telling you guys that a shallow pullback is what I would expect after we had a deep pullback previously. I told you guys that a pullback would make sense, but if we got one, it would probably be shallow and we'd get right back up into this resistance area again. And that's when I would expect the resistance area to break. And we have done every step of that 𝐴 prophecy so far. So smash up those fucking likes if you appreciate this on-point analysis. The fact of the matter is, guys, we're actually doing very basic analysis. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not doing anything particularly advanced. I'm just saying that there's a lot of strength in this market according to what I can see, and we've already had a deep pullback, so we don't need another one. So naturally, the S&P 500 ended up following through with that, and we're looking really good right now. And I think that's one of the key reasons that Bitcoin is in a good position as well. This red line, as I warned you, is important to the market. And the thing is we just kind of like, dismissed it with this pump and then again with this dump and almost to an extent with this pump again over here. We just kind of like previously we were using this level, we were respecting it. Resistance was resistance. We consolidated, found a bit of support over here and a bit more support on the way down, right? So it's quite clear that we were responding to the 29K level. Maybe we reduced this line down to this price level here. That makes perfect sense as well. But the bottom line is that we were respecting these levels up until this crazy shit happened. But we're kind of back in play now. We're holding above the level, so it's clear that the market knows this is an important place to be, and we're consolidating up here. Let's just outline the facts here. We've had a weird instance where leverage has been flushed out of the market, and we're now seeing retail majority short, and we're seeing all of this happen while we've been able to clear our resistance. And if we look at how long we've spent below the red line versus how long we've spent above the red line, let's say the craziness starts like right around over here, yeah? And I think that's fair. That's a bit generous. I would say the craziness started maybe like on this candle right here. But anyway, if we look at how long we spent below the red line, it was 16 hours here and 8 hours here, 7 hours here. That's it. So like 24 hours. We spent a full day below the red line. That's it. That's literally all we did. On this pump up here, we spent 10 hours above the line, and here we spent a further 1 day and 20 hours. So a very long time, right? We have clearly been on the top range of this area that we're in right now, as opposed to at the bottom. And that's important. We use information like that to tell us where the market can go. Like normal people will just kind of look at this chart and be like, okay, Bitcoin's at 29.3, but I'm interested in like, what can I read between the lines? Like, where are these like little signs of strength that people quite frankly, aren't going to know to even pay attention to. But guys, if we are hanging at the top of a range and we're not kind of, we're not getting sent back down, and the bears are not getting a chance to drive us down, and every time we kind of, come down, the bulls are stepping in to aggressively buy. Look at these wicks right here, aggressive buying action happening at higher levels. These are signs, at least in this short-term vision that we've got here, that the market is pretty strong. And I like that view. Now, it's still so dangerous, and I can't stress that enough. We're still in the same range, right? And so from that perspective, nothing has changed. We're in exactly the same place that we were in before. That's really important, guys, to keep in mind at a time like right now, because, you might get lulled into a false sense of confidence to think that Bitcoin can start breaking up really high. I'm seeing a lot of talk of Bitcoin clearing this high, and then maybe coming back down. And, this is just like the paradise setup that everyone wants to see. Obviously, I would love to see something like that as well, but I feel like that's all becoming a little bit too obvious. So this range is difficult, to kind of, pick a side on right now. I mean, I'm quite happy that I'm already in my long position, which I've been in for a while, so I don't need to pick. But, we're getting even more weird signs. Look at the Bitcoin dominance here. We saw the start of dominance falling, and it was exactly in the same way as all the other, times that our dominance peaked here on this chart. But this time we're making a second attempt up, and altcoins are feeling that. Look at Ethereum against Bitcoin. It's about to drop down to my area of support right here. If we lose this line for Ethereum against Bitcoin, it's lights out, ladies and gents. We're probably going to see some pretty significant losses for Ethereum, and it might be one of those cases where Bitcoin kind of rallies up and Ethereum just kind of stays in the same place, or just, rises very slowly compared to Bitcoin. Whatever the case may be, though, you already know the deal. I will be covering it on my second YouTube channel, linked at the very top of this description, and that's exactly where I'm going to be right after this video. So once you've watched this one, go check out the �4Flies Daily channel, and you're going to see my altcoin analysis, because there is a lot to update you on over there. There's a lot of things brewing right now in the market, and I'm very excited to get on to record that video. But yeah, of course, before we do that, I want to really give you guys my scoop on Bitcoin. And the deal with Bitcoin is we're still range bound. Until we break out of these yellow lines, we're kind of like, as far as I'm concerned, we're just in one of these ranges, which, I'm almost saying is like a way to protect me, because executing trades in this range is really dangerous. I'll tell you why. It's because we're very close to resistance, right? Like, there's heavy resistance up here in the low 30K range. So it's hard to take long positions. You really don't want to be entering longs right here. I said the same thing here, and I said the same thing here. It's just not the place to be entering longs, generally speaking. It's too high, right? I mean, the price has fucking doubled already. So, if you're going to play longs, generally you want to be looking for the pullbacks. So it's hard to play the longs, but for the shorts, here's the thing, is like, you're looking at short positions. Well, and I still think that could be a good idea. It's that my confidence in that is shaken a bit, because we've moved up really nicely, and then we've just, broadly speaking, guys, if we're honest, we've just been consolidating. Look at this on the weekly time frame. Right? Like, I know we've got that weekly bearish engulfing candle, which is horrific. It almost always ends in disaster. Somehow it hasn't done so, at this point. We're on Friday. New York trading has just closed. So the trading session is over. The weekdays are over. We're about to print a new weekly candle in a few days. And the, direct follow-up of our ridiculously bearish engulfing candle was our ridiculously bearish engulfing candle. There we go. I've corrected myself. The result of it is nothing. We're just consolidating. And that's something to pay attention to. That is, something that warrants, look at this on the weekly, on the monthly. We've got 2 days left on this monthly candle. It's not that bad. I mean, it's definitely not great, right? Like, if we're getting a monthly candle like this, explosive month here, a bit of a, reversal. We don't really know what's going on. Explosive month, and almost like this candle again. But these candles, the reason that they're concerning, right? Like, these kind of almost, these are, dojis or like reversal candles where basically nothing really happens, but the market trades up and low, and then we just kind of stop in the middle. When that happens, that's showing you that the market has an indecision. And again, like we were interested in reading between the lines, right? Like I want to, I want to make the right calls. I want to get all the information that I can. And a lot of this information is quite obvious. If you really kind of look at what we're seeing here, what we're getting is this was a reversal point. We hit 25K and then we came down, right? So that's why we formed this, reversal candle on the monthly time frame. Okay, that resistance wasn't the end of the world for Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't crumble there. We did see a big sell-off down to 19,700, which scared a lot of people. Did not scare me. It's actually what allowed me to enter my trade. Obviously, I'm the kind of guy, bite me, I'm the kind of guy that likes to buy low and sell high, right? That is just the way I like to trade these markets. So when the market drops, I don't get too scared. And when the market goes up, I don't get too excited. That's just how I am. I just like to make money, and I let my actions speak in that direction as well. And then if you are one of them, then you already know the deal. Thank you for all of the support, you absolute legends. So we started to show that we're kind of like shaky over here at the 25K range, which makes sense because it was an area of resistance. And we're showing the same sign right here. That we're kind of shaky, and this is coming at 30K, right? And so now it's a discussion of, well, which area of resistance was stronger? Is it 25K or is it 30K right now? I'm going to leave it up to you. Let me know in the comments, but I'll spoil it for you. I'll tell you what I think. I think it's super clear that 30K is way heavier resistance for Bitcoin. So the monthly time frame is something that we've got to take into account. This is, it's a potential reversal candle. And at the same time, the fact that we're holding at this level is a sign that, well, it's almost like this, right? Like it's a sign that we're losing a bit of strength. That we printed a doji candle. We didn't make any progress in that month. We traded up, we traded down, we closed in the middle. So we didn't make any progress in that month. But the fact that we didn't get sent down in and of itself is bullish, right? Like this is the thing, is if you look at this chart on the daily time frame, like it almost just looks like we're going sideways after a really big pump, so if you look for things that are bullish, this is like a 10 out of 10, right? Like we're consolidating after reaching resistance. We're not getting sent down by $10,000. We're getting sent down by, what is this? $4,000. We had a $4,000 pullback, 13% from high to low. If this was the worst of it already done, and that would make a lot of sense because we don't need a pullback deeper than 13% if we're going to keep trading sideways, right? You guys know the deal. I've covered this with you a lot, but we pay in this market in one or two ways, okay? The first way is we pay with prices, okay? So we pay with big, deep rips down like this right here. We pay with prices. We pay with price corrections. We pay for our euphoria. We pay for our excitement. We pay for our uptrends. The revenge that the market takes is it takes those gains from us and it drops the market. So we pay with price or we pay with time, right? Sometimes, we just do this and it's fucking horrible, and sometimes we do both, right? In this case, for example, it was both. We had a price-based correction directly followed by a time-based correction as well, and that could be what we're looking at here, which just, again, makes it so hard to pick a side in terms of trading. But here's what I do have confidence in, guys. It is traditional finance. The dollar is still not looking great. Every day that the dollar hangs around this area, and especially if it starts moving up, is a day that the dollar is coming closer to collapsing below that support level, in my opinion, with this technical analysis. I want to reiterate my point, my stance very clearly. I do not want to see the dollar or any world currency collapse. I don't need to say this, but I will, and I'll keep repeating it because we need to stop romanticizing normal people losing all of their money, for us to make money with Bitcoin, because that's fucking psychopathic. Okay, so I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. But at the very same time, the analysis is very clear. The dollar bounced off this support area. It was a lifeline. The dollar, by the way, when it's about to collapse below a support area, I've checked this historically. You can look at this chart as well. The dollar doesn't typically get bounces. And if it gets a bounce, it's not generally going to get more than one. So we've kind of already expanded what the dollar usually has as far as gas in its tank. And, you know, now we're just kind of like stable at the lows, which is exactly the same thing that Bitcoin is doing, but Bitcoin is doing it in a bullish way and the dollar is doing it in a bearish way, right? Like we're just consolidating at the lows, just waiting to break it, basically. It's almost like we're just waiting on death row, waiting to be called on, right? Like that's kind of what's going on for the dollar right now, you know, with what I'm seeing. And especially with a breakout for the S&P 500 right around the corner, guys. Look at how strong this week finished. I mean, it's kind of hard to wrap my head around, you know? I mean, let's take a look at, this is Monday. Monday opened like kind of okay. The whole week we've been recovering from a drop, and now at the end of it, we're doing really well. You know, S&P 500 is right at the top of this range. And I want to make this very clear to you, just as far as this resistance range goes. We tested it here. Okay, we got rejected, fairly deep correction. We tested it again, small correction, came back up for a deeper test, small correction, came back up again. You know, so we are constantly hitting this area of resistance. Now, you might be saying, okay, this is a head and shoulders pattern, which is pretty bearish. And I can totally see that. But we also have to analyze this within the context of the market, which is that we are coming off a swing low and we are basically just trading sideways between an area of support and an area of resistance. And this is happening after we've already bounced off support. So this is actually an extremely bullish setup that, I mean, I can't see how it wouldn't result in a breakout upwards. Obviously, it's not guaranteed. It's still only a probability at the end of the day, but the chance of it breaking up is so high, in my opinion, you know, that I'm willing to say it with a lot of confidence right now. You know, if I'm proven wrong, then so be it. That's okay. It's not like I'm going to lose any money, but if it does go up, Bitcoin's probably going to get dragged up with it, right? Because the deal with these assets, and you've heard me talk about this a lot on this YouTube channel, is that, you know, if the dollar is going to perform poorly, we're probably going to see money go into traditional finance, S&P 500, gold, so on, because people want to, you know, put their dollars to work. But if, you know, and if that happens, then, you know, the big people are making their money, Bitcoin's going to start seeing some trickle down, you know? Like when people start making money, they start taking additional risk, they start making even riskier trades, so they look at even riskier things like, you know, S&P 500 to Bitcoin, Bitcoin to Ethereum, Ethereum to resident shitcoins. You know, this is just the cycle that we always take. So, you know, if we're looking at something like that happening right now, that's a really strong thing for Bitcoin that's going in its favor. And I like that. I really like that. You know, I think gold is in a phenomenal place as well. Look at how we're holding the support, right? Like we could break down and we'd still be chilling. You know, because we've been held up here for so long, it's not going to be long until we come back up for another test, right? So I'm really, you know, quite bullish on gold. You know, I think the S&P 500 has had another pullback, so it's ready to, you know, lift off again, right? Pullbacks are what allow us to move up, right? We need pullbacks to move up. We need to make it sustainable. So we've got that now with the S&P 500, and Bitcoin, like I said towards the beginning of this video, is holding above a resistance level. You know, so it's doing okay from that perspective as well. Now let's really zoom in and talk about what might happen if we start clearing these highs. The thing I want to remind you about is that this is all still an area of resistance. A lot of people are acting like if we clear this high, that's it. It's sunshine, rainbows, paradise, everyone's happy. You know what? It might be, and it would make sense because we've consolidated for a long time and we didn't really have a real breakout here. So yeah, maybe, you know, we've already had enough of a correction and we just fly. That would make sense. But you know, as far as normal technical analysis goes, I'm not going to ignore resistance. You know, that's not something that you're going to see me do on this YouTube channel anytime soon, at least. I'm just not the guy that ignores the most basic facts just because the market looks fun right now. You know, that's just not me. And so with all of this resistance, I have to expect that even if Bitcoin breaks this high, I don't know. I mean, I just can't see how it's going to have a long way to run. You know, it might, and I want it to. I keep stressing this. I'm in my long position, right? I have such a big vested interest in Bitcoin going up. But of course, I won't lie. You know, I won't lie to you and I won't lie to myself. This is the thing. It's like, you know, when you're trading, and I'm so happy that I did make this trade, but when you're trading, you've got to have that brutal level of honesty with yourself. And if you have it, you know, you're going to do very, very well. Obviously, you guys know the deal. I'm trading everything I do pretty much here on Bybit, and you can get access to it using my link in the description down below. When you sign up to Bybit using this link, you're going to get up to $30,000 in free cash deposited into your account. That is free money that you can trade with. You can do this even if you already have an account. You just have to sign up to make a new one using this link down below, and you can still enjoy this competition. And of course, It's not a competition, sorry, this bonus. And of course, there's still the iPhone 14 giveaway. So if you want to get in on that, you've only got to deposit $100 when you sign up using my link. So that is well worth checking out. A huge incentive to be on a phenomenal platform, something that I've been using for many years. I was using them before I even started to work with them doing promo stuff, just because I loved the product. So I'm super happy to still be using them. But yeah, resistance up here, potentially problematic for Bitcoin. I don't want to pretend that the elephant in the room isn't in the room, but it seems like a lot of people are doing that. We had a problem here at 25K and it sent us down by more than $5,000, and 30K for me is an even bigger area of resistance. So I'm not saying that we have to get a big $10,000 drop, although that would be very welcome and that would do a lot to reset the market. It would be very healthy. I'm not saying that we need to do that, but what I am saying is even if we start clearing these areas of resistance, I'm not going to be one of the guys that tells you that Bitcoin has a clear path up to 40K. Because it doesn't. This is a very difficult range for Bitcoin to break. And rightly so. Once we do break it, if we do, and I'm sure we will eventually, this is going to be a phenomenal floor for Bitcoin. Right? So in a sense, and this is where I really want to try and red pill you guys. So you guys, kind of see the market the way I do, or if you think that's a better way to see it or whatever, and the way that I see these kind of things is I want to see resistance here, right? I want us to struggle here because I know that the more resistance we find here, the more likely we are to find support if we ever come back down once we break it. Look at how strong the support was over here, and how strong the resistance has been now, right? I don't know if you call this resistance or support. I'd probably class this as support, but it's pretty clear we've come back up now after a long time. It's probably gonna cause some trouble, but the more trouble it causes, the more stronger the support area is going to be, if we ever have to come back down and rely on it in the future. So that is also a good sign in my opinion. I need to see where this dominance thing is going. This is kind of weird, I can't lie. Seeing Bitcoin's dominance so high is just unusual. We don't typically see anything like that. So, this is something that I'm going to keep monitoring quite closely as well. As well as the long and short ratio, right? Because bottom line, we are still at resistance. So it's interesting what top traders are doing. I'm not going to say one thing or another in terms of which way I think we're going. Generally speaking, I think no matter what, whether we go up now or have a scenic route, I think we are going to end up in this resistance range, and I think we're going to end up breaking it. But I certainly don't think that path is going to be easy. If it is easy or if it's difficult, it doesn't really matter. There's a lot of opportunities here. And liking the look of the altcoin setups that we have right now, we've had so much price development across these charts that it's become really appealing. So this is definitely something that I'm going to be interested in taking a look at. And of course, I would only be trading those things pretty much on Bybit as the main exchange that I use. One of the other exchanges that I use, as you guys know very well, is OKX, and they're also giving you up to 30K in rewards. So I do want to highlight that, bring that to your attention as well. What's really cool is you're going to get up to 10K in a mystery box just for registering an account, right? And then once you've deposited $50, you get another mystery box worth 10K. So that's really cool. And then you only have to start trading to boost that up to 30, which is insane. So they're both very good offers. Take advantage of them with the links in the description. They're not going to last forever. But if you have enjoyed this video, do me a massive favor, subscribe, tick the bell, like the video, do all of that good stuff, and check out the �4Flies Daily channel if you haven't done so already. That's exactly where I'm going to be right after this video, and I'll see you all there very soon. Cheers.